The Tos-1 Burotino, Pinocchio, system was first exposed in Chechnya for its use of a terrific 220mm flame rocket, but was a way more ancient vehicle, developed in concept back in the 1980s. The idea of the Mubarak or napalm rockets was to create a large cloud of flammable gas, also causing massive explosions in the process to clear out bunkers and fortifications of any kind on the battlefield. TOS acronym meant Heavy Flamethrower System in Russian. For greater mobility as well as maintenance and repair, it was based on the trusted T-72 main battle tank chassis, fitted with a fully traversable and elevating twin or single 122mm standard rocket launcher rack. Production remained elusive, but the vehicle was still modernized and declined into the TOS-1A version from 2002, also widely exported. The possibility of a weighty short-range MLRS to send off rockets furnished with combustible and thermobaric warheads emerged in the last part of the 1970s. The battle framework comprising of the battle vehicle, rockets, and stacking vehicle was created in mid-1980s at KBTM in Omsk and was named TOS-1, staying a mysterious advancement for quite a while. The Tos-1 Burotino is planned to draw in military faculty, gear, and structures, including braced developments. The epithet, Burotino, starts with the name of the saint of a Russian retelling of the Pinocchio story, by Alexei Tolstoy, given the impression of the enormous nose of the launcher. The battle vehicle acts inside the battle request of infantry and tanks. The huge mass of the launcher and the requirement for an undeniable degree of insurance, due to the moderately short scope of 3,500 meters, 11,500 feet, decided the utilization of the skeleton of the T-72 principal fight tank. The TZM reloading vehicle was based on the undercarriage of a KRAZ 255B cross-country truck and outfitted with a crane for stacking, dumping of the launcher. Creation of KRAZ 255B has authoritatively halted in 1994. Subsequently TZMT for later Soltsepyok was made in view of the suspension of a T-72 variety T-72A. The TOS-1 weighty flamethrower framework is expected for direct fire backing of propelling infantry and primary fight tanks, and moves in their battle orders. It is intended to draw in military workforce, strongholds and light protected vehicles. The weighty flamethrower framework is by and large like numerous send-off rocket frameworks, but fires various sorts of rockets and has more limited terminating range. The TOS-1 was created in the mid-1980s and was effectively utilized by the Soviet Army in Afghanistan and later by the Russian powers in Chechnya. It is nicknamed the Burotino. It appears to be that the first TOS-1 weighty flamethrower framework was utilized distinctly for preliminaries and assessment. It was never created in amount. Additionally, the first TOS-1 was rarely traded. The TOS-1 was first displayed freely at the Third Worldwide Omsk '99 presentation of ground and air gear in June 1999. Hung on the grounds of the Polyet Aviation Combination, exhibit activities and terminating tests were held at the Svetly municipality test site. Potentially a model, the frame depends on the T-72 tank. Frameworks of this kind in the West are normally utilized for mine-clearing activities, and it is conceivable that this framework was squeezed into administration in Chechnya for this reason, just as to utilize the fuel-air hazardous region for swearing ammo against Chechen warriors in metropolitan regions. TOS-1s were first utilized in combat in Afghanistan's Panjshir Valley by the Soviet Union during the Soviet-Afghan War. 10-11. Later, they were utilized during the Second Chechen War, unmistakably by the Russian Army during the Battle of Grozny in 1999. TOS-1s were first utilized in battle in Iraq by the Iraqi Army in the recover of Jerf al-Saqqa on October 24, 2014 from ISIL forces. 13. The Iraqi Army sent off somewhere around 3 TOS-1 rockets on the 18th of June 2017 during the principal day of a hostile to recover the old city of Mosul, Iraq, from the Islamic State, focusing on school structures held by Islamic State powers and known to be without civilians. The OSCE revealed in September 2015 that the Tos-1 was located in a dissident preparation region in eastern Ukraine. The Tos-1 was utilized in Syria on October 10, 2015 by Syrian army powers against rebel powers in Hama. In 2016, it was utilized against rebel powers in the Latakia Mountains. It was utilized again by the Syrian army in April 2017, in the space of Palmyra, and later around the same time to obliterate an ISIS camp. In November 2018, the framework was conveyed by the SAA against ISIS in Al-Safa region. Azerbaijan utilized the Tos-1A against the Nagorno-Karabakh Defense Army on the 4th of April 2016 and the 28th of September 2020. It partook in the huge-scope Russian-Belarusian practice Zapad in September 2021. During the 1994–95 conflict in Chechnya, the Russians were astounded by the complexity of the Chechen utilization of booby traps and mines. Chechens mined and booby caught everything, showing magnificent knowledge into the activities and responses of the normal Russian officer. Mine and booby trap mindfulness was difficult to keep up with among inadequately prepared Russian soldiers. In the new battling that started in late 1999, the Chechen capital Grozny has been intensely mined by Chechen powers, who are battling from covers for projectile launcher and assault rifle teams. The Russian military has additionally charged that Chechen contenders getting ready to wage compound fighting utilizing chlorine, smelling salts and sulfuric corrosive bombs covered in Grozny. The Tos-1–4 framework's region disavowal capacity would be helpful for both mine-clearing tasks, just as in activities against Darban troops. The Burotino was the fundamental thermobaric conveyance framework that the Russians utilized against Grozny. It was first battle-tried in Afghanistan's Panjshir Valley in the mid-1980s during the Soviet-Afghan War. Worked by the Omsk Transmash Plan Agency, Burotino is a 30-barrel 220mm different rocket launcher framework mounted on a T-72 tank body. It is found in the Substance Troops' different fire hurler brigades. It is a noticed fire framework with a most extreme powerful scope of 3.5 kilometers. Different sources say it has a greatest scope of 5 kilometers. The base reach is 400 meters. Toward the beginning of December 1999, Chechnya blamed the Russian military for involving an unidentified kind of substance weapon in the attack on Grozny. As indicated by Chechen reports, north of 30 individuals were killed in the assault, which observers said delivered surprisingly yellow blazes, and in excess of 200 others experienced different levels of consumes. Albeit unverified, these reports are reminiscent of the fragmented explosion of the fuel spray scattered from a fuel air touchy. Weapons of this kind require exact spray dispersal of fuel to guarantee legitimate blending in with environmental oxygen, trailed by unequivocally planned shooting of a little initiator